From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, November 22nd. Gonna have a lot of sunshine, slightly warmer temperatures for your Tuesday. Winds will be a little less breezy with temperatures into the low 50s. Today, a judge could decide to unseal court documents with evidence that led to Richard Allen's arrest. He's a Delphi man charged in the 2017 murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. A hearing is set for 9 this morning. It comes as Allen asked the judge to release him from jail as he awaits trial. Allen's attorneys used the probable cause affidavit in their argument to release Allen. The request, filed yesterday and obtained by I-Team 8, shows they want him released without posting bail or by setting what they call a reasonable bail amount. Allen's attorneys say the defense has reviewed the probable cause affidavit and that it shows proof of guilt is not evident. They say the affidavit does not have a strong presumption of guilt in it. The affidavit is the key element of today's hearing. The original judge in Allen's case agreed to keep the affidavit with the details justifying Allen's arrest hidden from the public, a move almost never seen in courts in Indiana. State police say that they're now protecting the integrity of the investigation. Wish TV is one of several media outlets urging the judge to unseal the documents. The 8-page brief filed yesterday argues the public interest is best served by public access to a prosecutor's basis for filing criminal charges. It says it's unlikely that there is any justification to warrant sealing the entire factual basis for charging the defendant. The filing says the history leading to the defendant's arrest, coupled with the nature of the underlying alleged crimes, the murder of 2 children, underscores the need for transparency. We have made it easy for you to read the full court briefing online. Go to wishtv.com. You'll find the story at the top of the page in the As Seen on Wish TV section. Allen is expected in court this morning because the judge ordered him to appear. I-Team 8's Richard Essex confirmed Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter will not be there. State Police will have troopers from the Lafayette Post on hand for added security throughout the morning. From I-Team 8, IMPD is fighting a family's demand to release the unedited body camera video of a man's death in police custody. Herman Whitfield III's family made their argument in front of a federal court yesterday. As we've reported, Whitfield died in March when officers used a stun gun to subdue him during a mental health call. IMPD released part of the body camera video, but Whitfield's family says it doesn't tell the whole story. The attorney representing the city and the officers says releasing the full video would be prejudicial to his clients because there are currently no pending criminal charges against the officers. Right now, there is not a timeline on when the judge could make a decision on releasing that video. Also from I-Team 8, a judge says she will decide next week whether Indiana's Attorney General can access the medical records of a 10-year-old rape victim. Dr. Caitlin Bernard is suing Todd Rokita to stop his investigation into her and the abortion she performed for the child. Rokita has said he wants to determine if Bernard failed to follow Indiana reporting laws. Bernard testified for nearly 90 minutes yesterday. Her team offered evidence that Bernard reported the abuse to authorities in Ohio, where the crimes against the child happened. Rokita's office accuses Bernard of furthering a political agenda by telling a newspaper reporter about the girl's case in June. Bernard testified in court that a reporter overheard her speaking with another doctor, leading to the story that became a national headline. Rokita says through a statement, there is no defensible reason for this doctor to shatter her 10-year-old patient's trust by divulging her abortion procedure to a reporter so her traumatizing experience could be used in the polarizing abortion debate on the heels of Dobbs. Only by reporting to Indiana authorities immediately, as called for by statute, might the little girl have been spared from potentially being sent back to her perpetrator. Bernard's attorneys say the proper protocol is to report the abuse where it happened. A judge says the city of Bloomington must reconsider a conservative student group's request for an All Lives Matter mural. The IU chapter of Turning Point sued in February after plans were blocked to paint All Lives Matter on a city street. City leaders claimed the mural would go against the city's beliefs. 3 Black Lives Matter murals were approved by the city in 2020 and 21. According to the judge, the decision did not violate the First Amendment, but that Bloomington did not publicize specific procedures for approving public art displays in the city right-of-way. An Indianapolis sergeant is off the streets as he faces a drunk driving charge in Ohio. IMPD says authorities arrested and later released Sergeant Peter Fex last week. IMPD says Fex was not on duty at the time and told his supervisor after it happened. Chief Randall Taylor has put the sergeant on administrative duty during the criminal case and an internal investigation. A mother who lost 4 daughters in an Indiana tragedy is suing over their deaths. The girls died in a fire in Flora 6 years ago this week. Authorities have said they believe someone set it on purpose, but they've never figured out who. A new complaint filed in a U.S. District Court claims the landlords failed to have working smoke detectors in the house. The suit names 2 individual landlords and their company because Indiana law states each individual is responsible for ensuring there are working smoke detectors in a property. A witness for the landlords testified that there's no way to know if smoke detectors would have led the mother, Rose, to get her girls out in time. We now know the names of 5 people killed in a mass shooting at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs. Officials identify the victims as Daniel Aston, Raymond Green Vance, Kelly Loving, Ashley Pogg, and Derek Rump. Authorities say 19 others were injured when a gunman opened fire at Club Q Saturday night. According to police, the shooting lasted just minutes before clubgoers tackled the shooter. Police are now investigating the shooting as a hate crime. The accused gunman faces 5 counts of first-degree murder, among other charges. The Justice Department says the U.S. Capitol Police officer who died by suicide after the January 6th insurrection died in the line of duty. Officer Howard Liebengood's family made the announcement yesterday. Liebengood died January 9th, 2021, 3 days after the riots. His widow has been calling for his death to be classified as in the line of duty so she could continue to receive benefits. She says Howard was ordered to work practically around the clock in the days after the riots and was severely sleep deprived. Today is Organization Day at the State House. Lawmakers will gather to set agendas and choose leaders for next year's General Assembly. Healthcare looks to be a key topic for the session. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services says the average person in Indiana spends more than $10,000 a year on healthcare, which is higher than the national average. House Speaker Todd Houston touched on the subject at a panel discussion hosted by the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, saying a push for price transparency will continue, but that the government cannot fix everything. Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor was also part of the panel and contends that the Republican approach shirks government responsibilities and that lawmakers need to cap the price for certain medications. A recommendation from the Governor's Public Health Commission calls for $240 million more in annual public health funding. Republican leaders say they're not likely to approve that much because they don't believe it will help bring down consumer costs. The city council in Atlanta, Georgia, has approved a $1 million settlement with a family of a man shot to death by police. Rayshard Brooks died in June of 2020. His death further fueled the social justice protests across the country that summer. A special prosecutor appointed to the case called the use of deadly force objectively reasonable and declined to bring charges against the officers. Through their attorneys, the family members of Brooks say they're still disappointed by the lack of charges, but they're pleased to have reached a settlement. We now know how long reality TV couple Todd and Julie Chrisley will spend in prison. They, along with their accountant Peter Tarantino, were found guilty of fraud charges in June. Todd Chrisley was sentenced to 12 years in prison, Julie Chrisley 7 years, and Tarantino 3. According to the Justice Department, the Chrisleys obtained loans by using false bank statements, audit reports, and financial statements. The money was used to fund their luxurious lifestyle. The DOJ also says they attempted to conspire to evade collection of delinquent taxes. Representatives of the 3 have not commented on the sentencing. And the USA men's national team first game in the World Cup in Qatar ends in a draw. USA took on Wales yesterday in the Americans' first World Cup game in 8 years. USA dominated early with a goal in the 36th minute from Timothy Weah. Wales was able to tie it up late in the 80th minute thanks to a penalty kick from Gareth Bale to end the game 1-1. It's Wales' first appearance in the World Cup in 64 years. The U.S.'s next game is Friday against England at 2 p.m. And early this morning, in what may be one of the biggest World Cup upsets in World Cup history, Saudi Arabia bests Argentina 2-1. Indiana extends its winning streak to 5 in a runaway 123-102 win over the Orlando Magic. Pacers kept up their signature balanced attack, 6 players in double figures led by Benedict Matherin's 22 points, and 2 players with a double-double of points and assists, Tyrese Halliburton and TJ McConnell. Next up, another home game, this time against the Timberwolves tomorrow night. Tip-off, 7 o'clock. And Indianapolis has landed another major sporting event. The NCAA says it will hold the women's Final Four here in 2028. It'll be the fourth time for the city to host the event. The most recent was 2016. The Final Four is set for March 31st and April 2nd, 2028 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.